Atheism is not a lack of belief. Yeah, I know. It sounded strange when I just said it. So imagine how strange it is when a theist says exactly that. I know. I was as confused as you could potentially be. So let's see if this theist knows what atheists believe. Hello, I'm the Skeptic. I watch videos on YouTube that make extraordinary claims, whether that's flat earth or strange conspiracies, but mostly the claim that a god is real, and then explain why I can't accept their position. Before we get into today's video, please do subscribe, hit that bell notification to be alerted for my next video, and drop a like. That would be amazing. Before I start today's video, I'd like to point you towards Deconverted Man, who I appeared on a video with this week. We got talking about many different things, and it was very enjoyable, so I've put a link to that in the description. Now, in this atheist response video, Pointless Thorns, a YouTuber with over 1,000 subscribers, shares a TikTok video of him explaining why atheism is not a lack of belief. Have I had it wrong all this time? I know the original video isn't directed at me, but I'm going to answer as though it is. Is not being convinced of something actually a belief? I guess there's only one way to find out. As always, the link to the original video is in the description.
Uh-oh, human. Listen, I'm not going to allow you to be intellectually dishonest. Atheism is, in fact, a worldview because a worldview is how one views or interprets reality. It is a collection of beliefs.
Uh-oh, a fast-talking one. I can see this almost 3-minute video having a lot to look into. Atheism is not a worldview. People don't live their lives through atheistic eyes. It's simply being unconvinced that a god exists. As someone who is unconvinced that there are gods, I don't do things because I'm an atheist. I don't say, today I'm getting a dog because I'm an atheist, or I'm convinced that there are any supernatural beings, so today I'm buying myself a coffee, or because I don't believe in any Bibles, I'm going to burn down a library. FYI, I would never commit arson, which is also nothing to do with being an atheist.
And you would, in fact, need to know many things in order to make the claim that God does not exist.
I think the majority of atheists would be unconvinced of a theist's claim that there is a God. That's not the same as saying there isn't one. I have $5,000 in my pocket now. Do you believe me? If you don't believe me, that's not the same as you saying there isn't $5,000 in my back pocket. Also, I wish I had $5,000 in my pocket now.
You're making yourself look kind of ignorant right now.
Pot, this is kettle.
If your claim is that you're not convinced that God exists, it would be because you currently believe that God does not exist.
Thanks for telling me what I think. Could you also let me know what my stance on biblical slavery or misogyny are? Thanks. Oh, by the way, that's completely wrong. Not believing in A doesn't automatically mean A doesn't exist in my world. It simply means that you have claimed that A is a thing, and I would like you to demonstrate that A is a thing before I accept it.
You don't believe that God exists because you believe something else. Listen, all worldviews seek to answer all the important questions. What is the origin to life? What is the meaning to life? Who am I? Why am I here? Why is there something rather than nothing?
And none of that has anything to do with being atheist. Theists claim to have answers to some or all of those questions due to their beliefs. For example, why is there something rather than nothing? God did it. Or what is the meaning of life? God knows, but those answers need to be demonstrated.
You have a worldview. All people do.
But what does that have to do with atheism being a belief? My worldview isn't X equals X because I don't believe the claims there's a God.
But why does your worldview better explain life and all of creation?
It's not really a worldview to accept what is testable, repeatable, and demonstrated by science. I merely accept the best current understanding of life and creation, though the word creation carries a lot of weight. I'd rather it was came to be. Again, it has nothing to do with me not being convinced there's a God. It's purely me accepting what multiple sources suggest is the case after many, many scientific tests. Though that could all change tomorrow if better scientific methods came along, demonstrating something even clearer than the current understanding.
Listen, we're like detectives and we're both presenting our own case.
I shouldn't need to present a case to say I don't accept the evidence on your case. You present a case as you're making a claim. I'm not asserting the opposite. I'm rejecting your claim and the evidence you have to back it up, as it doesn't convince me.
But you have the burden of proof for why you believe what you believe, just as I have the burden of proof for why I believe what I believe.
Hang on, are you reading a script? But, I mean, I can hardly talk. Carry on.
And many ignorant atheists, they make the illogical mistake of saying that atheism makes no claims. But atheism makes no claims is itself a claim that would need to be defended but it can't be defended because it's a claim.
Yeah, someone really doesn't understand how positive assertions work. This is really simple stuff. Basic Claimant 101. The burden of proof is on the claim. Saying I don't believe what you're claiming as the evidence doesn't convince me is not the same. If your evidence doesn't convince me, it's not my job to get evidence for you to then convince me. There's no burden of proof on someone saying, that doesn't convince me.
And if you claim that atheism makes no claims, well then you claim ignorance, and so you might as well be a blank canvas, and if that's the case, well then I'll paint a picture on you. Whoop! There, look at that. That's you making claims.
Just saying it fast doesn't make it the case. I understand that it must be difficult to have a burden of proof. Saying that there is a God comes with a big responsibility. We could look at it another way. I would imagine that because you believe in a God, you don't believe in many other gods. Is that the same as saying those other gods don't exist? If no, then you get where I stand. If you say yes, then maybe tell me how you reached that conclusion, as it seems to be a method convincing enough to you that works. Anyway, yes, I would say that when it comes to God belief, I'm a blank canvas. Paint a picture that convinces me that there is one.
Atheists make claims whether you like it or not, because every proposition that affirms something denies something else by logical implication, because truth is absolute and exclusive.
No. It's actually embarrassing how much you don't get this. There's always a third position. I don't know. Do unicorns exist? Yes, no, or I don't know. If you say yes or no, that's an assertion, and you'd have to prove that either is true. I don't know opens up more questioning. Why don't I know? I haven't been convinced. But not knowing doesn't mean I should live my life as though unicorns do exist. Replace unicorn with God and you get the position of most atheists.
Your belief that God does not exist is within your worldview, which is a collection of beliefs.
But who said God doesn't exist?
You only denied God because you affirmed something else. So what is that something else that you believe?
What I believe has nothing to do with whether there is or isn't a unicorn. I mean, God.
Because if God is true, your worldview will crumble. I know, because it happened to me when I had been an atheist.
Well then, this is perfect. If you were once an atheist, but now you're convinced there's a God, you can make this a heck of a lot easier on everyone by explaining what convinced you. You're doing this whole burden of proof shifting, but it's likely that you have the ultimate in supernatural evidence that was enough to stop you being convinced that God claims weren't compelling, to then become convinced there actually is a floating man in the sky. Why not do that as a video?
And finally, atheism is not a lack of belief, otherwise you wouldn't even have any beliefs.
Atheism is the lack of belief in theistic claims. How can you not get that? If folks watching this video are anything like me, there's a chance they're sitting with their head in their hands, despairing right now.
I'm going to show you an example. Look, you don't merely have a lack of belief that this is red. No, you possess a belief that this is green.
You know how belief works, right? You're demonstrating that there is, in fact, a green pen. If you were to hold a god in your hands and say, this is a god, I may accept it. However, if you were saying, this pen is actually red, I wouldn't accept it until you demonstrated it, which you absolutely could do, because you have the pen in your hand and could show what colour it is. In fact, this whole scenario isn't analogous to a god, since pens demonstrably exist, and their colours can also be demonstrated.
Likewise, you do not possess a mere lack of belief that God exists. Rather, you possess a belief that God doesn't exist.
Please stop telling me what I'm thinking, especially when you're wrong. I don't think a God doesn't exist, and I feel like most people can say this with me. I'm not convinced a God does exist.
And your belief that God doesn't exist stems directly from your worldview, which is a collection of beliefs.
This is irrelevant though, because I'm not claiming a God doesn't exist. That would be silly.
All beliefs determine unbeliefs. All unbeliefs stem directly from beliefs.
Hold on a second, this can't be real. Have I fallen for a trolling? What on earth is this guy talking about now?
Listen, you present your case, I present my case, and then may the one that is most reasonable be believed.
Okay then, here's my case. I don't accept the claim that there is a God. Is that more unreasonable than there's a God, you can't see it, hear it, touch it, feel it, know it, or experience it, but it's there? I mean, unless you have evidence to the contrary. See how you have the burden of proof?
But don't tell me that this is not red. Tell me what it is.
I'm not claiming it's red. I just don't believe it is red until you demonstrate it is. Which it may well be, or not.
To spend your entire life going out of your way to tell people you don't believe God exists, it's absolutely ridiculous. You look foolish.
More foolish than someone who claims that a green pen is red? Or more foolish than someone making a supernatural claim that hasn't presented evidence that has convinced me?
You need to get busy. You need to present your case, show people why you believe what you believe. Don't be a coward. Say what it is you believe and then defend what you believe. I'll do the same.
Exactly. please, please, please listen to your own advice.
Here's what I believe. Christianity is the most reasonable of all beliefs.
Could a Hindu say the same about Hinduism or a Muslim about Islam? How do we determine who's the most reasonable?
Jesus is the truth and the only way to life.
Please don't tell me we got to this point in the video just for that claim to be the evidence. You do realise that you need to demonstrate all that you just said in that last second about Jesus. Well, he has a whole website dedicated to demonstrating that last claim, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm excited to go through and see if there is evidence to back up that claim. But this entire video was a misunderstanding on what many atheists say about the claims of God. So I'll skeptic atheism as still being a lack of belief. We're fine. Phew. Do you agree? Is atheism not a lack of belief? Was that pen actually read? Let me know in the section below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. From me, the Skeptic, stay safe, keep thinking logically and ask questions. Skepticism is the first step towards truth. See you next Saturday.